Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I am truly, where'd it go? I am excited to get started again today. I hope all of you who tune in, who join, whether it's on the panel or just in the background, I hope that each of you can find some encouragement, inspiration, and faith from what I share, what is offered, what is generated and emanated through this live stream and through our time together. Truly, I thank and I appreciate all of you who are tuning in, checking this out. You know, even if it's periodically and from a distance, checking in to see what's what with this Talcottian adventure. Some of you truly do. You make this fun. You really do. And life can be fun. Life can also be kind of scary. But today, brothers and sisters, the message again that I want to share here on this Sunday in our one experience of today together. In the background of me is the message of love. In the background of the stream, rest in God's love and peace on earth with one love, one heart, one vision, seeing and knowing one people. Because there truly is, there's just one experience of this lifetime as you and me. So whether we're perfect or not, we're here. So what I've been practicing for myself, the goal I set for myself, was I wanted to be able to, well, be more Christ-like in the way I lived. And my mind of that was strong and, unmovable, unshakable, strong and fearless and kind and good. And it takes practice, but all the good things do. That's why I practice my religion of love often. But the goal I set for myself was to learn how to flow. Learn how to flow through the day with the divine faith, divine love, divine peace of Christ Jesus. And then peace on earth. It's real because it's present with you. Peace on earth. It's a fabulous way to live. I've been working my best to live in peace despite the chaos, despite the craziness of the world. And, I'm not going to lie, I pay attention. Peace is my purpose here on earth as a man. The end of wars. I'm paying attention to what's going on, and I'm going to open the link up. And for those who want to join, you're welcome too. But the war drums are beating. The incompetence of the people representing America, the leadership, there's escalations happening. I think that's real life, right? I think it's real life what's happening in Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Gaza and Sudan. I think that's real. One of my notes today, for us to live in peace and to truly feel comfort and safety in us, we've got to reconcile our opinions with reality. And this thought was inspired by some of the people, some of the characters I've been dealing with. There's a distinct difference between opinions and what is real in many different cases, right? Throughout life. Life can be confusing, but when we as individuals can reconcile conflicts and disagreements within our mind, when we can allow things to exist at the same time, being contradictory to each other. Something can be good and bad, right? Something can have multiple perspectives, and perspectives might disagree. But if you can reconcile, meaning allow those things to coexist, if you can allow your thoughts to exist with reality and with you, if you can allow your thoughts to exist without it feeling bad, well, that's the goal for you. It's as simple as that. We're here to grow into what we might become. But it's hard to know what we might become if we place all of our importance and all of our relevance on the past, all of our memories. It's and our emotions, those are driven from history, driven from memories in the past. So what I found that gave me more hope for my future, it's pretty simple and obvious. To gain more hope for your future, place more importance on your future than your past. Maybe even place more importance on your future than your today, as long as it's in a healthy way. If you're willing to sacrifice your comfort a little bit today for a better tomorrow, hello, that's a no-brainer. You want to create success in your life. So finding relevance and finding uh, importance, you get to choose. And throughout your life, what might be relevant one day, what might be important one day, may not be relevant or important for you, for the future, or for things change. So finding what is relevant, finding what is important, if you can find an importance in reconciling your thoughts with reality, questioning your thoughts, because what is real is more important than what we think. That's for sure. Um, my life has shown me this. And here, brothers and sisters, those who are tuning in, I'm claiming nothing other than I've learned from my life lessons, and I want to share some of the life lessons I've learned so that others, you, might avoid some of my just stupidity. I created so much misery in my past, in my own life, with my depression and my drinking and my focus on the lack and on the problems. I had a negative outlook in my head, which kept my heart all, I don't know, confused. So, relevance and importance, finding what is relevant, finding what is important, staying focused and true to you and to what is true, allowing yourself to reconcile your opinions and reality. Because if you question your opinions and you pursue yourself far enough, you can forgive. You can. You can forgive anyone and everything. It's possible. And you don't, what are some of the other ones? Well, we can all do better. A lot of people, especially in this online realm, I get accused of this, but there's a lot of people who think they've made it, that they're a success and they don't need to improve. Don't fool yourself into that. What I realized, what I was reminded of at church today is Christ won't fail. Christ does not fail. God does not fail. Where we fail is when we fail to stay true. When we fail to stay true, we step away from Christ. We step away from God. We step away from love. So Christ won't fail you or me in our lives, but it's up to each of us to align ourselves with God, with the Christ, with the Christic, the perfection. We don't have to be perfect. That's true. But at every moment, we should be good enough. Good enough to get along with each other, good enough to get a task done, good enough to be honest. We should be good enough. And if we're good enough and we have faith in Christ, that Christ will carry us through what is true and what is, what is purposeful, what is love, well, seems to me that we can accomplish pretty near anything. And I think that's what the scriptures were talking about. I've got a bunch of notes here, but today, my day, I'm feeling good. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the link at the same time as I go ahead and get rid of an irritant. Margot, you're welcome to have conversations, but in the chat, I don't need to deal with it. and this one, I'm not sure what makes you assume that. You're welcome to join. Maybe offer your offer the details of your examination of me. Since you want to make apparently a public diagnosis, come and explain your jurisdiction and your and the details of what you mean. Because this world we're living in, brothers and sisters, it's not that hard. It's not that complicated to know the difference between true and imagined. Oh, that was one of my notes. So yesterday, as I was reviewing yesterday's stream and looking at what I shared and what I didn't share, I left out a bunch of things regarding the Day of International Peace and some of the discussions that the UN was having regarding why it was happening. Here's some the Constitution of the United Nations. Oh, here. Why don't I do this? Tom, welcome, my friend. Let me jump through this real quick. Constitution of the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. Anyway, the title. Their constitution starts with the notion that wars begin in the minds of men. So it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed. The defenses of peace must be constructed in the minds of men so that the wars that men imagine can be prevented. Hey, we've got now one guest I'm grateful to see you. Welcome back, Jubilee. And
hey, Jack, I was in the other playing with StreamYard things because it seems to have logged me into my account, which is cool. How are you doing? I just popped in to say hi.
I appreciate it. We had another guest show up right before you that I shouldn't put off, but I wanted to be respectful of you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me up. And I did want to, because someone had mentioned in the comments that you look like you're on the verge of a mental breakdown, which, might be your aesthetic. At the same time, I think that is the actual, it's what it looks like to have an awakening. I don't think our mental health system or our current system knows how to, well, I know they don't know how to deal with a spiritual awakening. They don't know how to deal with a mental health crisis. They don't know how to deal with any of it. And right now on my channel, Thursdays at 9 a.m., we are having a series of conversations called, love this, Burn It to the Ground. Not with fire coming out of our eyes, but like a series of conversation where we're metaphorically burning it to the ground and having a conversation of what would mental health look like if it was designed from scratch. What would foster care look like? What would teen help look like? All of those different conversations. So
Love that. You said Thursdays?
Yeah, at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard. I'm
Beautiful.
trying. I mean, I usually don't do things at a specific time, so that's when I have kid free time and when I can generally go. But sometimes life happens.
It does.
Black
It
card.
sounds great, and I love the idea. Welcome, Tommy. How are you, brother?
I like how you had to reference your first chat to make sure to verify you were indeed excited to be here. Hi, I'm oh yes, I am excited to be here. You brought your first chat up.
I wanted to remind myself. That's why I have the love sign in behind me, so I see it, and I have to remind myself, Jack, you're about love. Don't play into that. You're about love.
Jack, I'm gonna go make myself a coffee, so I'm just gonna go turn myself off camera. You can either drop me down or I'll be back and forth.
They say coffee's killing us. I say what's taking so long.
I've shared that as well.
The sweet longing for the warm embrace of death.
Dude, I used to pray for it. I did.
Ministers of death praying for war.
My life is transformed and changed.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we've got someone seeking desperately more attention today. So let me not exaggerate, because
might have been in my chat last night.
I might be assuming.
Yeah, you are assuming, because we got an interview with your son and chemo here soon. So I'm not desperately seeking anything other than exposing you. Does Jubilee know that you're hiding rape optics? Even if it's back in the day?
Literally his son, like the one in college?
We're in contact with, we're in contact. They're afraid to even talk to Jack or come on or anything. We're in talks, so they don't want nothing to do with him. So we're trying to say, well, maybe you guys could come on and say, leave us the fuck alone, because he's literally getting strangers online to just like Chemo said and Margot said and everyone's been saying, he's literally going online trying to get strangers to contact his family, and they've told him, we don't want nothing to do with you. Hey, Jubilee, Jack's a rapist. He's been exposed for rape and other things, just so you know, Jubilee. But no, yeah, we're in contact with family members.
I know there's rumors. Yeah, and I know Chemo.
No, there's not rumors. When his own family has left him and said, this is why we want nothing.
Did the stranger... Oh, I had a question for him. I wanted to know if the stranger thing at least rolled over to the baby shower gift. Did any trolls gift on the Amazon thing at least?
It might, Tommy. But what's funny, Jack, is your own family has told you to quit getting strangers online to try and reach out to them. And so, we might get at least a statement from them that they're really kind of like in talk.
That'll be impressive. Ah, that's school in the summertime, Jack.
Welcome, Margot.
This is your daddy tactic.
Hi, Jack.
Welcome.
I thought I would come up since you don't have the people that usually like to gang up on me. So,
off that picture, I just want to say all work and no play makes Margot a dull girl.
I go back to work tomorrow, 6 weeks off.
Just type it over and over again in a Colorado hotel.
And Jubilee is here. We haven't spoke for, oh my gosh, years.
Jubilee is here. My debts are forgiven.
We've been on panel with Jack before.
Oh. Hello, Margo. Jubilee.
Hi, Margo.
Hey, so this is a wonderful opportunity, because admittedly, this thought Like yesterday, Tom, I told you I spend time imagining conversations with people, trying to figure out how to communicate with them. And today it was Margot. The idea of,
You had an imaginary conversation with Margot?
well, I wanted to discuss Margot, maybe the opportunity to reconcile her opinions about me.
But that's what we tried to do on my
And
channel.
well, we're here today. So every day is an opportunity for us to reconcile what is real. So, Margot, what opinions are open to discussion today with you?
Well,
I just want to point out that every day I've been here, whether agreeable or disagreeable, we do a follow-up after party over on mine.
Well,
It doesn't cut into Jack's time.
please
But,
let
we
Margot.
don't always get to
Jack,
finish our.
my opinion is that I am aware that Snafu has made family connections, and I'm aware that they are still hoping that you will give them the peace that they desire. That's my opinion.
And I hope he cleans up the interview question.
Hold on,
like emo thing
Margot.
was.
Hey, Tom, let's take this a little bit seriously, please.
Jack, there's nothing to discuss about that. There's nothing to discuss about that.
According to facts or opinion?
It's my decision that I'm not going to discuss that. That is
okay. So Margot, back to the question then. I asked
again,
you.
I am not answering that question, Jack.
What is open to discussion with you?
There isn't. I come here to monitor to see if.
Then go away. Welcome back.
Is this love, Jack? Are you doing the love thing to everyone today?
I'm doing the best I can.
Have you heard out your predecessors and your challengers?
I've more than listened
you have cut them up in a half sentence.
What I've seen is those who oppose me don't actually listen.
That is your opinion.
Tom, come on, man. Actually, you know what? Let me have fun. Let me have fun. Thank you.
You're having fun by yourself?
Hand check. Have fun, but hey, I'm trying to have fun, but my real life is happening where I'm being publicly accused of horrible things by people who have no credibility, no true jurisdiction. They have no authority over me or what is real in my life. So I'm trying to face these accusations.
Are you trying?
Is anyone willing to help me? I know that's asking a lot. Why would anyone want to help someone like Jack? But this shit is insane. I've been saying Margot has been publicly attacking me, misrepresenting the truth, and now she's found enablers.
That's not entirely what's going on.
Snafu is enabling. You've been enabling.
No, I'm telling you what has transpired so far if it's not in your awareness of reality.
Why don't offer the correction then rather than the disagreement. Okay, you've got disagreements. So what is accurate then?
You have spent an amount of time seeking out people to help you reconcile with your family, and that message has reached a number of different outlooks, I guess you'd say, on who Jack is or what Jack sees.
Right.
So I am impressed. If Snafu got a hold of your son, I'm impressed on that. I don't think he'll have a good line of questioning for it.
I don't either. And here, why would people encourage and enable fears against me? Why should people be afraid of me or so done with
you?
Huh?
I don't think people are afraid of you.
Well, no, Margot, remember this is where I'm talking about. Margot's been painting this narrative, warning the neighbors that I'm somehow dangerous and a threat because people at the post office who she thinks are real.
Hold on, let's not do the facetious voice because that doesn't change anything.
What will change? Help me find a way to change this.
Well, Jack, first, how about just hitting it honestly, head on, and not the
Which part?
deflectionary Talcottian thing?
Which part?
I don't know. Are we talking about the United Nations contact, the
No,
family
Tom,
resolutions? They're different. They're different.
Here and now. Here and now.
Ernie's song. You ran it. Ernie's song.
Margot Davy is in the back.
Yeah, bring her up so she can talk for her.
What? No, I'm not going to bring her up just so she can keep looping in her.
So she can say her side.
She's been saying her side. What I'd like her to do is acknowledge me and the reality of this present time.
I never reached out to your neighbors. They made their own opinion.
Holy shit. Nothing but disagreements from you.
I didn't reach out to your neighbors. That's not true.
Fine, Margot. Fine. You're innocent. Did you do anything?
Yes.
I thought he froze up.
Tell you what, Jubilee, Tommy, do you guys understand what I'm
now
trying
you're trying to get people to gang up on me like you do, Jack.
No, Margot, you've proven yourself unwilling to communicate with me.
She can't if you backstage her.
Tom, right. Well, Tom, here's the thing. As the accusation has been, I've been trying to find people to help me communicate with my family. It's not just strangers. I went to professionals. I've been to pastors. I've been to people who I thought might care about helping a father and a son restore a relationship, but it's failed. So now my son and friends and family, they're not here. But I'm asking you two as strangers, will you please help me communicate with this lady, Margot?
That's what I tried to do on my channel when you
We're
left.
here
now, whenever you say, whenever we communicate, Jack, whenever you say you've tried to get all these people to help you, your son is old enough that he knows how to contact you when he does.
Let's
your ex-wife and your other ex-wife know how to contact you.
Back to the topic. The topic is, despite the failures of the past, despite everything that's happened in the past, I'm asking you and Jubilee, here as strangers online, will you help me? Will you be willing to try and help me communicate with Margot Davy?
Oh, that's what I tried to do, and you slapped me in the face, and you left.
Back to today. What does that mean?
See, this is how you can't dodge the you want to.
He's asking right now, are we willing to help Jack and Margot communicate right now? Right now.
We're not the ones that can backstage each other. He's the one that's going to disrupt communication.
Possibly.
Well,
he's asking, how can we help from where we are, which is not having the capacity to put people up and down on stage.
Okay, I have an issue with both Jack and Tommy. I'm gonna start with Tommy first. With communication.
Hold on.
I want to help you. I want to help you, but I need you to want to help yourself.
Hank, that's not helpful. I know you want your attention and you want to be the one who does everything, but Hank, coming up with a complaint about me and Tommy. Please explain how a complaint about me and Tommy is helpful, Hank.
I want to help you, but there's no way I can help you if you don't allow me to help you.
What are you offering?
I'm trying to help you communicate with Margot Davy.
Okay, please. Thank you, Hank. Would you please?
Autistically.
Margot, if you
So-
won't communicate, please, Hank, go ahead.
So, what do you, I don't understand what the message you want to say though.
May I ask a question?
Please.
Jubilee, it has been a while, but I believe that we're on good terms. Would you agree with that?
As good a terms as I am with it. Yep, I think
Okay.
so. I think we're on
I
bad
just-
terms.
I
I think
just
we're on
wanted to-
neutral terms. We're on neutral terms.
Yes,
Margot.
I just thank you, and I have the utmost respect for you. Thank you for answering my question. Yes, Jack, did you have a question for me?
Yes, Margot. You've been sharing many opinions about me publicly in the past, and I'm curious which opinions about me are you willing to discuss?
I will discuss all of them. Which ones would you like to discuss?
Well, any of the opinions that have caused you to encourage people who were violent against me, maybe to explain why you're encouraging people who want to publicly mock me, any opinions that cause you to believe that you should help keep my family away from me. Can you explain any of those, please? Or can we discuss any of those, please?
We can discuss them. I'm here.
Please explain any of them.
Well, as I have said, your family has requested that I not discuss them online. So
I'm asking you to discuss you, Margot.
I will discuss me. I've been home after an emergency surgery for 6 weeks. I'm going back to work tomorrow, and I have respectable relationships with everyone online, I believe, except for you, Jack. As far
Okay,
as,
so
yes.
why do you have such a, okay, no, that's the wrong question.
Yeah, she answered that question. You just
Okay, do you think she's answered any explanations to explain? Has she explained any of her opinions that have explained why she's online? Every time I try and describe it, she wants to tell me I'm wrong. But from what I heard and what I remember, she's talked to my neighbors, she's had private investigators, she's communicated with people in my life. I don't know why she has spent so much time and energy trying to make me look bad.
So I'll tell you, it's the same reason Snafu does. If you just remember the Snafu interview, she thinks you're a fake guru, and she thinks you're angry.
Well, Snafu and I are very different. Snafu and I have different intentions.
Are you not
my intention? Well, number one, you put on Facebook that you wanted to know more information about me. That is when my cousin, who owns a security company in Spokane, Washington, researched you. We've all seen it, Jack.
Okay, so you act like it was a threat, like I was coming after you.
I'm saying my cousin, who owns a security company in Spokane, Washington, saw that and decided to investigate you.
Okay, so why are you telling everyone that I'm being investigated? And why did you not tell your cousin or whatever that, hey, there's no issue with this guy? I mean, what did you do?
Because at the time you had just come out of a 72-hour involuntary lockup because
Untrue.
Okay.
Because this was in April of 2019. When was the incident at the school that you said that? When was that? If I remember our conversations, you said it was in May.
Jack, were you involuntarily locked up for 72 hours?
We're not talking about me. We're talking about you.
Well,
We're talking about hold it
to talk about you.
Yeah, hold it. We're trying to talk about Margot's opinion. You, so we can find out why she's not helping you.
Not just not helping me. Why has she publicly opposed me?
Yes, but when you try to query her for the answers, you shut her up. So we can't get to the bottom of this. So we need your help.
And we don't want to put a stamp on or help someone if we don't know they've been nefarious. We can't help you be nefarious. That's why we have to stay out of the now sometimes and find out what led up to this.
Okay, so what answers do you guys need so that you'll help me get answers from Margot?
I need you to let Margot finish, or otherwise I can't get any information to help you.
She asked you something. You said that has nothing to do with it.
Sorry, Jack, I'm not psychic. I need you to let Margot finish.
I'm silent.
Okay.
Please take over.
So the reason you think, Margot, do you think Jack gets angry a lot?
Margot, re-ask your question from before this all got a little...
Yeah, Margot, do you think Jack has anger issues? Yes or no?
No, I mean Margot's question. Re-ask Margot. Margot, ask your question again.
Was Jack in a 72-hour involuntary lockup? I think that he's admitted that.
Yep.
Now, was that time you said you were injected with a sedative?
I never. No. You misheard me.
I've never heard.
Oh, I guess
I have those. Zombatom Industries has that upholstery.
Mm-hmm.
Zypher Apostle says you need to stop asking questions just in case.
Else to add. Hank, may I say something? Jack, do you remember a very long audio that was made of you and Brian talking when Joseph was the mediator?
Yep, I've still got it.
Okay. You became very angry multiple times on that audio.
Do you remember why?
I don't believe that it matters why when my students are within hearing you screaming.
I think I've heard this audio actually.
Yes. Jack, you were very angry in that audio.
I remember actually that audio being what convinced me Jack had a point with the post office.
And I'm not.
A tone of voice being angry is not the same as an act of violence. It's not the same as doing something that should have union turn against you instead of for you.
But I don't have anything to do with the post office. I have friends that work there.
So Margot,
so you saying it in that recording he was angry. I sound angry right now. I'm not. My body's not angry, but my tone often sounds that way. People often mistake me for angry. I think I've seen Jack get what I would consider angry a lot, and he's gotten so much better. And I don't think it was ever actually necessarily anger in the same way it would be if it came from you or it came from somebody else, because you'd have to get in such a state to be there. He doesn't. That's his passion.
I think what we need to look at is what puts him in that perceived anger.
Thank you.
Like we're already off of the subject of you get locked up for 72 hours? Was that the time you were injected against your will with the sedative?
Okay.
That's the question that you're willing to answer because you're looking for the resolution.
Hey, Tom, again, I was not injected. That's your narrative. So let me Let me correct the record. Yes, it was November of 2018. I reached out to a friend who Margot knows and said, Charles, I'm in a dark spot. I can't think of any reason to continue. And I I was ready to end myself that day. Well, I didn't get any help. I got judged and I got yelled at. And then Charles reported me to the Postal Service because I was a postal employee. And then the postal inspectors reported it to the local law enforcement. And then the rat postal inspector, who wouldn't leave things alone and wouldn't fucking listen to me, because she kept harassing the local police. Yes, the police came and took me away, and I got locked up for 3 days, which turned into 7 days. And what you're remembering is they prescribed me medication without even speaking to me. And then I didn't understand my rights as a man as well as I do today, because that shit would never happen again. But
all this about all the way you've described these people, it's like you're the one that said you were going to delete yourself. So had they left you alone, delete yourself?
No. Here, the incident, the dark day was Friday. Charles didn't help me. I did find a friend here in town, a guy I didn't know. I just met him recently, but I reached out to a guy here in town. We went to the bar and we talked, and I felt better. And actually, this is part of my story. The willingness to end myself was a sign of defeat. And that day I actually got inspired and I was going to run for president. So by the time I got locked up, it went from Friday until I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was a Thursday where they took me to the hospital. And then I sat there. I had a bag of evidence, everything to document what I said. But the fucking counselor wouldn't look at the paperwork. He didn't have time for that. And then I'm on overtime. So then they locked me up and shoved me on to the next person.
It sounds like what happened is you wanted to show them evidence of your issues with either the post office or whatever. And their issue is you said you were going to delete yourself. And it's like, they're not.
Hey, please, Tom,
I'm trying to get there.
Don't over assume in this, okay? Because the reality is,
narrow it down.
Tom, the reality is, had I been able to get an attorney to cooperate with me, I'd have sued the shit out of these motherfuckers, because the way I was treated was unjust. So
why? Yes. So
why didn't an attorney work with you? Attorneys work with their clients.
Go ahead, Hank.
Yes. So Jack, these shrinks always railroad people. They want to keep you locked up and steal your money. That's just their MO. You can't trust them as far as you control them.
Right. But here's back to where we are now. Margot wants to use the fact that I was locked up in November as her excuse to what? To attack me publicly for this many years?
Yeah, she's integrated in that system. So yes, that's just they train her to do that.
I'm integrated into that neighborhood because my students live in that neighborhood.
Okay.
Why did you say you were going to delete yourself in the first place?
Tommy, I've explained this because
you got your people together to try and get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so there was 2 times in that year where I came it made sense to be done. Okay, so both times were the result of I lost my son, I lost the security of my job, I lost connection from every human being in this town. So
do you know
why should I continue?
Your connection?
I wasn't a threat to anyone.
But
I never was.
Lose your connection?
What's that?
How did you lose your connection to all these people?
Tom, okay. They changed their opinions of me.
Because of your
Why?
action.
Every single person had a different excuse. I found God. People started pushing me away.
You
No,
said you
that's
were Jesus Christ.
Margot,
okay.
that's what you've claimed, and that's what others have said, but I have been very specific with my words. I've never said that.
So why? Be
Let,
specific now.
okay, please. That's what I'm trying to get to with Margot. Margot,
That's what I'm asking
what?
for. No, why did you lose connection with all these people in your life? Like for me, I say it's after that motorcycle accident, after I
Hello,
knew these people
Tom.
just did. Why did they disconnect with you?
You want me to assume? Do you want
Well,
me
I
to
would let
guess?
you know.
All
It's
right.
rare that everybody breaks contact and you don't know why.
No shit, Tom.
So
Thus,
why?
holy shit.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah.
It's because people were brainwashed to trust the shrinks, and you put yourself at mercy at
No, he's
sadistic
not at
people.
the
Can
shrink
we
yet,
come
Jack
back to the
or
present?
Hank. This is pre-shrink. This is just before he's even said he's going to delete
He
himself.
said he was locked up. They were locked up
Oh,
by the
we've
shrinks.
gone.
Yeah,
Here, let me explain again, because I keep getting blamed for what I do and for what others do.
Jack, can I ask a question?
Please.
And feel free to say you don't want to answer it. Timeline wise, the loss of your job, your family, your friends, did they happen in a specific order? Like, did you lose your job and then what was the order? Like, you found
It was-
Jesus, you brought
was-
the self-help work stuff to the post office,
First
and
it was my son,
okay,
and then it was
May I ask a question before you move on?
no. Jack, continue, please.
no, please.
Well, it is my opinion that Dominic Dominic's mother did not feel safe because of how you were acting, and that's why Dominic was taken from your care. Would you agree with that?
No. Well, I don't know what she assumed. This is the thing.
Is it
She
safe
re-
to leave a child with a man that says he
She-
wants to commit suicide?
Margot, he was out of my life long before that.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Can
I'm
you
sorry.
get back to answering
hey,
Jubilee's question.
Hey, my patience has been exhausted by Tom. My patience is nearing the end with you. Okay? I know
Okay.
you.
If you don't want to help, I'll just leave. But I'm trying to help you. But
You're
if you don't
not.
want,
You're saying you're helping, but you're not, Hank. Okay? Margot,
Yes.
despite the things you've said and despite the rumors that you've perpetuated, I have never been a danger to anyone. Okay? You wanted to use my thoughts of ending me, you wanted to use that as reason to punish me. And that's what you've been doing. You've been trying to punish me publicly, Margot, for 6 years now.
Jack, that is not true.
Please correct me where I'm wrong.
I found your behavior erratic, and that is why I don't think that you should have been around children. I was asked my opinion, and I let them know that I felt that your behavior was erratic and you were often angry, and that I would not want you around my children. That was my opinion then. And by the looks of your temperament today, I still believe that you are an angry man.
You guys accept everything she said?
No.
I don't accept everything she says, but you do see him angry
And Jack,
now.
we're not going to bully Margot. You're not going to
Can
sit
you
up here.
understand why I might be showing some anger right now? Can you imagine why?
I would like to share that my story, although when I met Jack, did not in any way parallel Jack's story. I have now been hospitalized for 3 weeks against my will because somebody claimed that I was erratic and I would murder my child to frame them, when I am a peaceful person who's been dismantling capitalism for the better part of a decade. Nonetheless, she was able to run a smear campaign with the helps of Josh from Dad Challenge podcast and a whole Felton family to get me put away for 3 weeks. So my child almost ended up without me. Because where's my kid supposed to live while I'm in a hospital? When Jack was at his lowest, he had everything taken from him. And you've done nothing but follow him everywhere he goes because you don't like that he looked like he had a mental illness. And society's fucking horrible to people we deem as have a mental illness. Why does erratic behavior have to equal the violence? Was the destruction of him and Dominic's relationship based on a lie. The violence was the removal of, I don't know whether it was Dom's choice to leave.
My students
or whether it was the
are
state's
safe.
choice.
My
But
students
dear
are
God,
safe.
So
you
Jack,
became on my bad side during that last conversation, Margot.
That's fine,
So-
Jubilee. I'm fine with that.
So Jack, I don't have to imagine why I've been at the wrong side of a shrink many times in my life. I'm out here training on how to resist their influence. So I don't have to imagine why I have personal experience why. So I refuse to submit myself to power authority of a shrink.
All right, Hank, can we come back to what's happening here and now?
That's what I'm doing now. So, of course, I can see your anger because I share the anger.
Hey, Hank. Jubilee offered some very fair feedback, and Margot didn't really consider
Jack,
it.
you're trying to gang up on me, and you're being unkind to Hank.
Margot, I feel I'm showing respect, particularly considering our past experiences and your current. You're so convicted. So after what Jubilee said, she pointed out that I was at my lowest. I mean, sincerely, and I had reasons. I lost everything as a man from my experience. I
Because
lost
of your behavior.
everything.
Because of your behavior.
Margot, okay. I know you want to believe that anger is the only emotion that I ever show. But after everything Jubilee said, you jumped back. I'm paying attention. You jumped back and said your children were safe.
Yes.
Okay, they were never in danger from me.
Because you were locked up.
You, Margot.
Jack,
He was locked up for having suicidal ideations, not for having wanted to murder people ideations. Those are not even close to the same thing.
Oh,
do you know anything about mental illness? In the however long you've been stalking Jack, have you not had a chance to look up how to treat someone in mental illness, how to treat someone in psychosis, how to treat someone in any of the things that you claim Jack has been under? Do they not teach any trauma information in AA? Anything?
Yes, I have, Jubilee. Yes, I have.
Why don't you act like it?
Because
Why is your enemy?
Because I have the children's best interests at mind, not Jack's.
No, you
Yes.
don't. You're hurting all children everywhere. You're being
So-
a Karen.
So, Jack,
Thank you. Hank, please, what do you have to say about this?
I'm trying to clarify that you understood what happened. Are you okay with
Hank,
that?
Please, I'm not thinking you're actually paying attention as much as you
He's
think.
afraid you're not going to hang up on me.
I'm trying to communicate, but you're not allowing it. So I can't communicate. How am I supposed to communicate if you're not going to allow it?
Hey, Hank.
If you don't clarify, if I don't clarify it, you understand.
Okay,
then there's nothing I can do. I'll just leave.
Asking me if I understand, because I was paying attention to what Jubilee and Margot were saying. What do you want to make sure I understood?
I want you to understand. I'm trying to make sure you understood by Margot's reaction. Are you okay with that?
Do you think her explanations are sound?
Using her. Let me answer, Margot. Using her framework, that would be sound. Using her framework.
Based on so Hank, since you're still wanting me to answer for what Margot thinks, let me make sure that you understand what Margot said better. Make sure we understand the thing.
Hold it. I'm trying to clarify that you understood what she said. Now, if you don't want to do that, I can't do anything to help you. Don't ask me to help you with this.
All right. I don't want you to help me, Hank.
Okay.
Of course not. Jack, I'm out of here. You and Jubilee, thank God your children are safe. And thank God all children that have to be around you guys are safe. My job is done.
Wow. Yep, my child is safe in my home with me the entire fucking time.
Hey, Jubilee.
And all children will be safe. I wanted to point out, though, specifically, and she doesn't need to have a point to rebut it. She says she's here for the children, specifically, I think her children and your child. Yet she stated in here, in this very broadcast, your family asked her not to speak about them online. And what did she do? She spoke about them online right now, today, showing she cared more about getting her point across and being seen of as right than she did to listen to Dom, who she cares so deeply about.
This has just been amazing. And Jubilee, sincerely, you didn't have to share your experience. Thank you.
Well, I'm taking down the mental health field, and I'm a revival and a revolution in my life. So,
well,
if you want to follow that, come be part of it on my channel. Come join on camera. Come be part of the Jubilee.
I'm telling you, there is a reason our paths crossed. And while you and I are quite different, there's similarities to the stories too.
I think it's becoming more similar. Like I said, we did not have that in common. I had to have the experience of being on that side of the mental health to see how freaking broken it is.
I did too.
I already was a patient for my brain tumors, for all of the stuff that made me have physical disabilities, and experiencing it as a patient against your will is just mind-blowingly fascist. Like, I don't know. It's just, anyway. Yeah, I share about it. We'll be sharing about it. There's a lot of people who have experienced being in the hospital in those against their will. And I'm realizing with Gablin, if that's their name, has not talked at all. We haven't.
Goblin's pretty patient, and I appreciate that. I don't want to overdo that, but if I can real briefly, Hank, thank you for the contribution. Please don't keep asking for help with this issue with Margot. There's nothing anyone else can do if we can't clarify understanding. I'm taking down shrinks. Well, Hank, I see you and many others have wanted to help me, but you insist on doing things your way, and you want to control me in how you help me. And I think that's what Margot's been doing. I think that's what even Tommy's doing. Tommy's patiently waiting in the back, but Goblin, welcome to you.
I actually happen to have a little bit of experience with what you're going through as well. And it's interesting how that happens because you'll already be down and then people continue to kick you down. I feel like Margot is being very egotistic and that's attacking your character. I don't agree with what she's doing. I'm familiar with Jubilee's story as well. I came across her channel through you in the past. I did want to do a follow-up conversation sometime with her on her channel. I've just been a little busy. I was upset with you a few days ago. I took a couple days off, and I just wanted to come see if we can get right, man. You know?
We're good, my friend. Jubilee, can you share your link? There's folks inquiring, if you would.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I also just commented if people want to.
Oh, okay. Oh, here. Tell you what.
I'll find it.
Oh, I got it. Simple as that. Because I tried looking you up, and it was like someone else in the chat said, there was a bunch of them coming up. So.
Well, I have a few channels, and yeah, there's that big channel called Jubilee. So with millions of, we're not the same.
Yeah, she's got a very interesting story because she's definitely a survivor. She's not a victim, and I like her mindset. I don't agree with tearing down capitalism, but it's okay to agree to disagree, you know? She's inspirational. You know?
Yeah, there we go. Oh, Machine Lies. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you for sharing and sharing.
Hey, this has been an interesting experience, but I mean, to tie it back into the thumbnail and the topic, one experience. We get one lifetime to experience life like this, and peace is available if we become honest. And I think it's going to happen. Tommy, I brought you back up if you're there.
Yeah, and why did you take me off?
I felt you being disruptive.
Really? Jack, there's a line of questioning that anybody that's going to get to the truth is going to have to ask, and I seem to be the only one asking them. Them unbiased. I'm not taking Margot's side. I'm not taking your side. I'm getting to the bottom of what you want resolved.
So I was trying to communicate with Margot, and you were asking me questions. That's where I got frustrated. So we can come back to your question of why did they push me away? I can tell you what they said. I can tell you what I did.
Start with that.
Which part?
What they said and what you did.
With who? I told you, each one has been different.
Okay, let's start with your wife and your kids.
Okay, the wife stepped out on the marriage before our son was 3. So despite Margot's narrative and the narrative of others, the breakup of the marriage was actually my excuse to punish myself. That's where my drinking really picked up, and my depression. I was a failure as a husband, so I looked at myself as a failure as a dad. But I was trying to be a really good dad on the chances I had on the times where I had my son. But his mother stepped out before he was 3. We had a late term miscarriage, and she went through postpartum depression, and I couldn't get her to get help, and I didn't know what was going on. She found a guy who made more money and provided her more comfort and security. So she found a better guy than me and moved on. And that was before our son was 3. So the original agreement was shared custody. It was supposed to be 50-50 because we were both very caring parents devoted to our son. Well, In the early separation, the first few years of our divorce, my anger at her probably didn't help because we didn't communicate well. We were not co-parenting. It was each of us was on our own. And so we made mistakes.
But
But
hold on. She's not with the new guy at that point?
oh, she ended up marrying him. That's my son's stepfather.
Then what do you mean you're both on your own?
Because they parented with him when they had him. And then when I had him, it was just me. I mean, there was no real communication between us. It wasn't healthy. I admit that. I've been trying to repair those failures for a long time. So
repair with your ex-wife?
definitely, because she's obviously influenced our son.
I can get repairing things with your son, but ex-wife remarried, I think that's a lost cause.
Hey, I want any path. I mean, there's no reason her and I can't get along.
There is. You're divorced and she's remarried.
So, okay, forget her then, okay? You asked about her, but here, the marriage ended long before my drinking progressed. It progressed worse. And then I got sober. We were divorced by 2006.
So if you guys divorced before your drinking escalated, what did you guys divorce over?
She found a boyfriend.
Right,
she wouldn't stop dating her boyfriend, so I said, okay, we need to get a divorce.
So you initiated the divorce?
Yeah.
And you're still trying to reconcile with her?
I've been trying to make peace.
The peace is it's like I tell Sherelle and Special K, be the fuck out. You don't have to keep connecting.
Okay, so, right. So let's move past her. Did I answered the question, did I hope?
All right. So if you move past her, are there the things that Chemo talked about when you were showing up at school events and stuff?
No, that is such bullshit too.
A guy that wants to reconnect with the wife he divorced is not showing up at public events?
The way he said that is absolutely.
So how did it happen?
Yeah, if it involves his son, I would imagine he would want to show up. So yeah, I could see him going to the school events. So I don't see your connection.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of how this went down, Wizard.
Yeah,
you're not gonna.
But you're making an insane connection that he appeared at the school events because of the woman and not because of his son. That is total projection. That is total projection in your questioning.
No, how am I projecting? Projection implies
I'm dishonest.
I don't have a son to show up.
What's dishonest about it?
I appreciate it.
It's a projection that he is doing it because of his woman
I
and not
asked a
because
question,
of his son.
Wizard.
It's
I asked a question.
Holy shit.
I don't know why you dropped him in.
Tom, here's why you're asking that question. You want
I'm trying to get to the bottom of what
right,
you're trying to resolve.
You want me to answer for false narratives and accusations. Now, okay, so you referenced the
No,
event.
I'm looking for clarification, Jack.
Holy, what are you trying to clarify?
Yeah, you're looking for clarification while making a projection.
I'm trying to verify what is false narratives and accusations compared to what your side of that is. Does anybody have a problem with this? Does anybody have a problem with how I'm trying to get to the bottom of the truth?
That's what I'm saying. Your false projection creates the false narrative.
I have made no projection, you old coot.
Tell you what, let me try an answer, and maybe we can discuss my answer instead.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I don't need this season 1
Would you
unslavic
please
piece of shit.
let me answer.
Mm-hmm.
So, when my son was in high school, this is when the athletics was going. He spent more time with them than with me. I switched from every other week to every other weekend. Now, because
you had him while he was in high school. You got time with him while he was in high school.
Yes, Yes,
Okay.
until he was 15. Yes, until he
All right.
was 15. And the thing is, we were even out doing driver's training. Matter of fact, I think he did no, he practiced with her too, but we did the driver's training and all of that stuff, and everything was going good. I'd stopped drinking and become a better father. So here, back to the question, the sporting events. When I was drinking, I didn't make it to many of the sporting events, but I did try to go. I would go whenever my work would allow it. But I worked a shift where I worked till 6:45 in the evening, Monday through Friday, so I missed a lot of the weekday stuff. But I would go to the events to cheer on my son. Now, when I was still bitter at them, I would sit away from them. And then the worst part that I saw was that there was a time early when my son was younger where I saw him looking at both of us, trying to decide which direction do I go. And I never wanted to do that to him. So I figured it out.
Can we say he's been a product of your wife's lies and manipulation if you even had time with him when he was 15? Is it not his decision that he's making?
Of course. Everyone makes his own decisions, but decisions are usually influenced by what's around us.
Which was both. He had time with you and time with his mom. So what is it you'd be asking us to?
With his mother.
What is it you'd be asking us to resolve if you even were in contact with him up till he was 15?
I'm not what are you asking me, Tom?
Okay, you're asking us to help you get back into contact with your son. But if he knew you up until he was 15, what are we going to change his mind about?
As I've said, until he was 15, I was deeply loved by him. He and I had a very close relationship, believe it or not. And despite the abuse that Margot wants to fucking spread around against me, everyone who knew us, and a lot of people at my work knew my son because I was the union president and I was very involved at work and very involved with my son. So a lot of people knew the two of us, and they all knew that we had a healthy, good relationship together. So then at 15, we had already dropped to the every other weekend. And then he started pushing me away right around the time I had my spiritual awakening. But he was 15. He's getting the interest in girls, and so I was supporting him with that. I took him to the movies so he could go on a date with a girl. I sat in the car, so he'd have transportation and stuff. We were doing good, but then he was pushing me away to do the teenage thing. And then I've explained this before. There was one incident. I punched a door. I told his mother. I tried making everything better, and nobody would ever give me a chance again.
Well, I hear you. I've been a door puncher before. No, I've punched a door in various things before, but you're also telling us that your son and your job pushed you away at your spiritual awakening. Yep. And you did say you tried to tie in your spiritual awakening things to the post office union.
Well, kind of, but not really.
But my biggest thing here is you're saying this community knows you, the post office knows you and your son, and now nobody wants to hear you out. Right. And I would have questions in each individual situation, especially with your ex-wife, like you split from her and now you want reconciliation with who you split from. And your son
I don't
and your
care.
son has
Tom,
known you up until 15.
Right. I don't care if I never speak to her again. I was fine with that a long time ago, but it's my son, and it's not just my son, it's my old friends. It's my neighbors, you know. Margot and Chemo, they've publicly admitted they've talked to my neighbors. Chemo came in and
Or you
told
sound
some
like a
story.
community.
Chemo
I don't
came
know how
in.
big Spokane is.
Does it matter?
Yeah, I mean, my hometown was like an everybody knows everybody type place.
I live
So
in
I'm saying you're just listing off more and more people that know you and split off. We have to consider.
No, Tom, don't read too much into that. If you expect me to constantly defend myself from guilt that you want to keep imagining, how about assume that I'm honest?
How can I not read into it when me and other YouTubers are like, Jack was cool and I'm splitting off to a degree? Like, you do have a tendency to break trust and have questionable,
you know what, Tom?
support.
This isn't helping. I guess I don't.
I think it is. I think it is helping.
Is it? What's helping?
It's getting somewhere. I think we've gotten further in this stream than any of them so far.
Well, maybe. Goblin, were you saying?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask. I really don't want to get too involved in this because I understand it's a personal situation and there are feelings and emotions involved. Is it safe to say that also while your son is growing up, you know, doing the growing up thing, that he became a victim of circumstances between the separation, and then woman uses the, you know, the son over your head as a form of, okay, I understand that. I actually I had a similar situation with my parents growing up, so.
But it's different whenever he was still getting time at 15. Like, there's sometimes you've told it like, oh, he was 3 years old and he couldn't think for himself.
Tell you what, Tom. The topic that I'm really, you know, it's Sunday. I'm filled with faith. What I really want to share on these live streams is some faith in God, some encouragement, some inspiration that, hey, we can create a better world, right? So the question comes back to where we were at. I appreciate you guys trying to understand. How much more do you need to understand? Because here's the case I want to present. I think I'm a decent guy. I'm not a danger to anyone. And I know for a fact that if it's true, my son at 21 years old, coming up on 22, if it's true that he's got a kid of his own, I'd love to help him because me and my son's mom, we made a lot of fucking mistakes with our kid. It's obvious in the fact that a young man has no willingness to talk to his father. That's pretty disrespectful in my view. But I've learned a lot about especially raising children. And I'd love to help my son if it's true. I'd love to help him try and avoid some of the bullshit that I did. Would you guys be willing to try and help me, help a young man, help raise a kid?
So I want to tell you straight. You have a plan for world peace that requires unanimous agreement.
That's your narrative. I've tried correcting you on that. So go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, okay. You're putting doubt into getting everyone to agree on stuff if we can't get this far. You're stonewalling us.
And the cat's in the cradle with the silver spoon. Little boy blue.
I want to buy into this, but you're stonewalling.
If it matters for anything, man, I will say, you know, growing up in a similar situation, I believe that your son will reach a point where he will reach out to you. I believe that. I don't know when that will be, but I believe that he will come to that point at some point when he's ready. You know what I mean? I did that, and it took a long time for me to do that, but I did come back around to talk to my father, you know.
Did you receive any encouragement?
No, actually, I just it just took me time to sit and think to myself, like, well, realistically, a woman cannot raise a man. That's just a fact, man.
Here's the reason I asked
Grizzly bears would beg to differ. In fact, the entire animal kingdom would beg to differ.
We're not the same as the animal kingdom.
Right, but if you need to be raised with someone who looks like you to be that thing, it's not a natural thing that comes with it.
So do you agree that if you are a male and you grow up only around your mother, that male is lacking something as far as a male?
I think we all need to grow up around women and men that are grown
yes,
up.
Around women and
we
men.
need both our parents. We need both our parents, but there is a thing that the opposite gendered parent does play a substantial role. Like with boys, they do need their mother. Look at Mr. Unslaved. But with girls, they need a strong father to stay off that dollar pole. But yes, it's best that they have both.
I'm not saying that the woman's not necessary. It does.
But the dichotomy of mankind having this society in such a great depth that our social realms, male and female, are so distinctly separate. If you bring up a male in an environment with nothing but females, he's going to grow up effeminate. Vice versa. Yeah. You're going to have women that if you bring them up in nothing but a male environment, they're going to grow up to be masculine.
Which means it's not natural, and it's a culture.
Correct.
And mimicked. It's mimicked. It's a mimicked behavior.
What's not natural?
To act effeminate or act masculine. It's a mimicked behavior.
that comes down to like estrogen, testosterone as well.
Grizzly bears don't need to be raised by a male grizzly bears in order to be terrifying male grizzly bears.
We're not animals like that. You keep going back to the animal kingdom. We are not that.
What is it you need to get?
But see, the problem is most of us have lost that instinct to act naturally because we've been brought up societally to act effeminate or masculine.
So I want to get back.
I will say there's a push to effeminate with the gender confusion and such. Yeah, I'll agree to that.
I want to get back to Jack.
But it's like a perverse form of society. I wouldn't say this is classic society the same way I wouldn't say this is classic capitalism.
So I'm going to get back to Jack. So I want to see the new world envision model to me. I want to feel it. I want to hug it. I want to taste it. But but if this isn't anywhere close to what we're trying to be, I just don't know what I'm supposed to imagine.
I don't know what you're asking of me. I'd like to come back to the conversation where I was.
I'm asking you to model the behavior we're supposed to be doing.
Your lack of understanding is becoming a burden for me, and I don't need to
He's
prove
autistic,
anything
Jack.
to
Hold
you.
up. Hold up.
I'm asking you to model the behavior you want us to demonstrate. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I've been trying to, but you don't seem to look for that. So if you pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm being honest. I'm being authentic. And
you think I'm lying?
I don't think you're paying attention as much as you think.
He takes in information differently, Jack.
I know.
And whenever that information isn't backing your side, you have short patience with it.
No. I'm trying to get back to the conversation that I was trying to participate in rather than being controlled by the other people here. And Hank has
I'm keeping you in the lane.
I brought it back to you. I just want you to model the behavior you want me to demonstrate. Is that hard to ask?
So Hank, I don't know what you want from me, so I'm modeling the efforts to communicate. I'm modeling the efforts to create peace, to offer peace. What more?
He said the world you're shooting for. Describe what that is.
No, I not. No, I don't want him to describe it. I want him to participate as if it was the world we're in.
Well, the world.
Like we're already there.
Yes. So, but if I copy Jack, I don't think Jack would appreciate it.
I get what he's saying. It's like when Jack tells me I'm not a good representation of a Christian, and I'm the first one to say that.
Here's the thing. Why don't you, Hank, if you understood even partially what I'm saying, why don't you show me a better example?
Because I don't comprehend the way you want me to act, and if I act like you, it's wrong. You're acting just like the shrinks.
He wants you to agree with him, Hank.
No. Okay, I agree. Whatever, no, I agree
to. Now you got it.
I want you to listen to my words, to actually understand what I'm saying rather than expect me to prove I don't know what. What I'm suggesting is sincerely, Hank, I don't know what you're trying to get at. I want to come back to the question I asked Goblin. Fuck.
The contradictions. That's what I'm trying to get at. The contradictions. If I behave like you, you tell me I'm wrong. If I behave,
if you look at your part, the only thing I'm asking for is to be treated with kindness and respect. I don't have to dance for you in order to have a fucking conversation.
But you got angry at me literally right now. We're still in the moment for trying to treat with kindness and respect. So I don't understand how you want me to act.
If that's your narrative filled with...
It's not my narrative. No. It's not a narrative.
Okay, do you have any responsibility in what you saw?
I'm taking responsibility right now, and you're frustrated with me. So
Correct. Do you understand why I'm frustrated with you? I can point it out.
Negative. I do not understand why you're frustrated with me. I do not understand.
Okay. Do you understand why you're frustrated with people?
Yes.
Jack?
Tom,
do you?
Tom, please back off so I can communicate with Hank.
Okay? So you can control me. Yeah.
Just for a moment. Hank, the reason I got frustrated with you, it was not only you. I asked Goblin a question, I don't know how many minutes back, and he answered, and then multiple other conversations took over, and I've been trying to get back to follow up the question I asked because there was a reason.
Yeah, that's why I brought it back to you. So go ahead.
Well, I thought you brought it back to me, but then it went back to you, and you wanted me to model, rather than do what I was trying to do, you wanted me to model something for you.
Then ask Goblin already. I'm not understanding how you want people to behave if you're not modeling yourself.
Hank, if people would see what I'm doing, if you could see the good in what I'm doing, maybe I'm not perfect. But what I'm attempting to do is communicate to get answers and to maybe share some answers. So, Goblin, you were bringing up something about similarities between me and the Father, and it took you a long time. And I asked you if you had much encouragement. The reason I asked that, I don't know if this is true or not, but from my memories, I don't remember anyone pulling me aside with kindness and saying, hey, Jack, why don't you do the right thing? Why don't you forgive your ex-wife so you can have a better relationship? Hey, Jack, why don't you look at your drinking and let's see what we can do? Encouragement is what people need. When we get encouragement to change, when we get encouragement to do the right thing, we're a lot more inclined to do it. But we live in a world that wants to enable disagreements and conflicts and all of these problems.
I think we're getting back to what your thing is, man. Like,
okay, I agree with what you're saying, Jack. Encouragement is a great thing. The reason why I finally took that step to reach out to my father without that encouragement is because I felt something missing inside of my life. So One more question, if you're comfortable answering it. Does he get along well with his stepfather? Okay, so
I have here. Let me. His mother and his stepfather are very, from what I've seen, very strict. Right, a lot of rules, a lot of order. From my mom, it sounds like he was physical with my son. I know he put his hands on me when I went to try and speak to them one time, but
that's going to be some of the encouragement for when and if your son does reach out to you. That's going to be in his subconscious.
Well, this is the thing. Hey, this question. How is my relationship with my own father? My testimony. I came from broken homes. Stepfather was not a healthy image or example, and the real father was an addict and an alcoholic, so maybe even a worse example. And so the only thing I cared about as a young man, I wanted to be a father. I wanted to be what I'd never had. And then when given the chance, well, I made some mistakes. And here, my life, my testimony is the truth. The sins of the father will be passed down. It's up to each of us. We need to do the healing. Despite how we were raised, it's up to each of us to figure it out and heal ourselves, because 15 years old, that's when I got angry. I threw my mom away, wanted nothing to do with her. And that's what my son did with me.
The scriptures mention generational curses, okay? And I'm not saying that's what's going on here, but if we can just use this as an example, if we're able to break those cycles that we're going through generational with broken homes are creating broken homes, and we set positive examples, we break those curses, if you will.
I believe this is what's happening, honestly. This is my today. This is the Jack story. I belong to Jesus Christ. I got up this morning and I was lacking hope. I was feeling a little alone and lack of resources, and life is continuing. So I felt pretty alone today, but this is what I resolved myself. I belong to God. I belong to Christ Jesus. I have faith that will get me through.
Your headline contradicts. Your headline is that New Age won everything, the one unity of everything. That's not Jesus speak.
Now, that's actually what Jesus was teaching about unifying.
No, it's not. And you'll say it's my narrative and my
interpretation. Hey, tell you what, I can explain everything.
Excuse me, but yeah, the scripture says one in Christ. I think you're misled, Tommy, and you're again up here projecting that Jack doesn't know what he's talking about. The message of Christ is unity, one in Christ.
Yeah, absolutely. In Christ. Not everybody is in Christ.
Well,
and Keith, you're the one that says you're not a
Tom. Actually, this is a theory. This could be taken wrong, but I'd love to hear other opinions, because this idea, I remember being raised with some of the whatever. So allegedly the Jews were the chosen ones, and then they had this superiority complex and a victim complex. Well, that chosen ones has been passed down into the Christian traditions. And I see so many Christians with this pride and arrogance that I found Jesus, so you are the enemy. And
no, people that are the enemy of God show that when they misspeak his word and manipulate the message.
Well, again, this is where you and I have had disagreements, Tommy.
Right. We do disagree.
So let's find reconciliation, because this is one
that falls
experience.
in your court.
We are. I didn't find the disagreements with me.
I find them in the Bible with what you say compared to saying you're a Jesus follower.
So which ones are we going to resolve?
We can't. That's in your court. And actually, Jack, when you say this oneness thing and you must reconcile and stay around your ex-wife, I am pushing the limits of when I must depart from you. It is a command to not let myself be around and manipulated for so long.
Tell you what, your question is coming back in my mind, because I've been asking myself this honestly. How did this happen? Not just one relationship, not just a couple of relationships. How did every relationship, how did I get thrown away?
Well, that would probably come down to each one, because I am personally, my bugaboo is the more problems I have with you, the more you say, oh, you're going to come around. You're going to work at it. We're going to be the best of friends. And all you've ever done is keep that from happening. And that's why I ask the questions that trigger you, because I'm trying to place how might you have done this with your family and your community. Because, Jack, you obviously have some issues. You get fired up here. Compared to my WWE theater, you get mad up here.
If you're honest, I've grown a lot. I mean, thank you, Jubilee. You've seen, many people have seen. My anger is not what it was. And even when it was bad, dude, this crap that Margot and others are using against me, that's a bunch of shit.
Let's not focus on the extreme of anger as much as what incites the anger. What incites anger? When you backstage me and speak for me. What incites your anger? When someone asks a straightforward question that gets somewhere.
Not accurate.
Well, it's what we've seen.
What have I said?
About what?
About why people are backstage. I've explained it many times.
Well, you change those reasons, but go ahead.
It's not because I get a question. It's because of interruptions and patterns of arguments. I don't have to waste time.
And isn't true. But I have shown that you've called a direct question gaslighting. You've called a simple question an attack.
Hey, Tom, see, you spend so much fucking time trying to be right.
The now. I spend so much time in the now listening that it makes you mad. I said I'm learning what you guys do. I'm learning what you do. I'm learning what Daddy does.
What did you learn today? About me or anything? Did anything change because you keep...
Yes. Allow me to answer, sir. We learned that you divorced your wife and still persistently try to communicate, which is kind of odd for being the person that initiated the divorce. We learned that you didn't lose contact with your son at 3 years old. You had contact with him up until 15. And now, as a father himself, I think that he's making his own decisions that you don't need anybody to intervene as strangers in.
All right. Well, so I guess...
So have we found resolution?
Right. You know more,
I think we found resolution.
Nothing changes.
Well,
the resolution?
Nothing changes for us, but I think you can confidently go about your life now understanding this crusade to reunite with your ex-wife you divorced and your son who is a father himself. I think you could put your energy toward better goals.
Yeah, and again, you keep projecting that he wants to reunite with his wife. I don't think that's part of the plan.
We just had that covered, that he tried to reunite whenever.
No, that was your projection.
Yes, and that's been addressed. Yes, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, then how about clarifying why his son needs any assistance with the reuniting?
At 60 years of age, I'm still the son of my parents. We always ask for advice from our parents. That's the normal familial routine, to ask people that you're familiar with throughout your life, and not to be disassociated and disconnected because somebody gets in their feelers and decides they want another man.
That's a projection.
That's the tearing down of the very family structure.
No, I'm asking you if his son is a father himself. Is it on any of us for whether they talk or not?
Okay, so Tom.
When I had my children, my parents were a great help.
I'm not asking about your situation, you old coot.
Well, Tom,
Pop Jack, I have a question. Pop Jack, can I ask a question, Pop Jack? I'm about to go live, and the back of my leg is like, it still hurts, and I was just wondering, like, can you give me some massage techniques on how to massage my leg there?
Massage the tension away.
And move closer to the groin. And center groin massage.
Move away from the groin, but wherever the muscle hurts, go above or below it, and there may be tensions in there, and then
go with circulation.
Yep, and circles, because our muscles, everything is circles. It's all where they call it.
Get into it.
Spiral.
Dig into that.
Dig
filament.
In. Yeah, dig in. Get hard on it, man. Push.
Okay. No, too much.
Thank you, Pop Jack.
I was massaging my leg.
See, one son came to contact you today. Your Truther Cop son has come to contact you. Is that not enough?
It is. Hey, let me change the energy real quick. I want to thank you guys.
Electricity flow, because that's what energy is.
I want to thank you guys. The emotional energy, the spiritual energy. This life,
new age bullshit.
Hey, my life is nuts. And in the past, it was infuriating. I was pissed. I was angry. I hated the world. I hated myself. But I pushed through it. And that's kind of what I think is happening. There's a lot of us in our lives today. We're facing these things that are like, holy shit, how did this happen? It's a check. And there's powers greater than us. What I learned for myself from experience, the idea of religion and God, it doesn't matter unless you have it. And if you have that relationship with God, it can change how you feel.
Who do you have a relationship with, though? Because you say you got it on yourself. Wizard can cite more biblical stuff, but not use them correctly. But you've said yourself you weren't brought up biblically, much less with a father, and then you don't like being corrected on your biblical misspeaking.
That's not. I love learning, and I love being corrected. I love being
okay. I'm the spitting proof that that's not true.
And you're the arbiter.
I can also cite how you're not being a fast learner.
Jack loves to learn in the long game.
And you're the
learning in the long game.
It's been 2+ years.
And you're the arbiter of the interpretation of those scriptures, huh?
No, I'm not. I can connect people with much higher arbiters.
You've been acting as the arbiter.
No, I've been the janitor of Christ and still run circles around how you're misspeaking the scriptures.
Hey, Tom.
Wizard too. I corrected Wizard on his Jacob's Ladder story. I corrected TML on his Walking story.
Your behavior.
You know nothing.
Okay, behavior. I covered that. You're not a good representation of Christ. I'm not a good representation of Christ. No one will be. But my words are correct.
Nope, your behavior proves you do not understand.
Oh, your behavior proves you do not understand.
Jack, I gotta go in like a few minutes. Can I say something before I take off? I just wanted to offer, you and I have a long history. We've had conflict, and you've helped me learn a lot of things through that conflict. That long running game of learning. of realizing that conflict is the biggest place for us to learn, find our own learning within that. And I think where other people experience the hypocrisy and where I experienced it is that you don't always treat people with kindness. What you do is return to the moment with forgiveness. And that is where you asking people to emulate that each new moment is a new moment. You can lose your shit. You can be an imperfect human being and you can still return to peace and love and kindness and return to the moment. And everyone's imperfect. No one is love and light all the time and peace and joy. So,
amen.
Thank you, Jubilee.
Thanks it was lovely hanging out with all of you today.
Hey, Jubilee, I dropped a link in the back chat for you if you'd like to check it out.
All right, thanks.
Just curiosity.
Have a good day.
Yes. And what Jubilee offered is right. I'm not always kind. She's absolutely right about that. And that's where my humble and my sincere gratitude does come in. People like Hank, Tommy, Keith, you guys who have been here, and we've butted heads and we've had our disagreements, but
I'm always kind, Jack. I'm not always nice. I think you try to be nice and you're not.
No.
I think you're rarely kind, but you're always trying to be nice.
I'm always honest.
Love everyone.
No, you're not always honest.
I am.
You're not.
Where am I not honest about?
We just showed some things today, man. You've let us believe you haven't seen your kid since he was 3 years old. He's been manipulated by his mom.
No, this is what I mean. You haven't been listening to me.
You haven't been answering until today.
That's Tom. I have explained my story and
you've word saladed, and you've said that you've explained it when no one knew.
No, see, you don't listen to understand.
I listen all the fucking time.
Not to understand.
I listened when you said, "Oh, I've been injected with a sedative against my will, and I was not happy about it."
Right.
Still waiting on Machine Lie's incriminating clip as if I haven't said worse things.
You remember what else I said? I said that experience that God allowed me to go through, it allowed me to witness and to learn about how there's a lot of innocent men and women alive today that are in jail. They're locked up.
Not as many as you think.
They are incarcerated, waiting for the process, waiting for the opportunity to show themselves innocent.
And that is a speedy process unless you're in Guantanamo. Are these people in Guantanamo?
It doesn't. No, this is in America. And this is what I mean.
Then you have the right to a speedy process. You have the right to your lawyer.
Tom, the fact that you have an opinion and an answer about everything,
that you're wrong about is very easy for any adult that's rational and logical.
You're not even listening to the point.
Rationality doesn't equal God. Like when you come to God's love, it's pretty
Isaac, nobody said that.
What the point is, I've been saying for a long time, God is working through us all. Now, my life, my testimony has brought it's opened my eyes into the world that we're living in. When I got locked up, right? And we discussed the reasons earlier today. It wasn't to protect anyone else but me, but it showed me these systems are so broken. They have no clue about mental health. They have no clue about properly treating people. I was treated like a problem.
How do people proclaim they have gotten help if no one's achieving it? I'm not saying there's not parts to the system that are fucked up or not operating correctly.
Because they're looping. It's because they're
But
stuck in the loop.
when people like you, Hank, and Jubilee are all saying the mental health system has to end, there's something about all three of you that I'm like, oh, they think the mental health system is completely off.
Again,
the strengths would tell you that doesn't work. I'm sorry.
It has to transition. Like they have us hooked on like numbing pills. You know, like people that are going crazy or they numb them up so they don't.
Isaac, you're numbing yourself every day.
That's because treatment sells, cures don't.
Yeah,
correct.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And I'm even the one that says my friend's father did a murder-suicide on his family because he was an early Prozac prescription. That's not the issue. But I think today, can we agree that, Jack, as far as your issue with the contact of your son and if it's still your ex-wife, have we not resolutioned that? Is that not resolved?
Resolved.
Jack stepped away.
I have that effect.
Yeah, so even if we go by the academic literature, the strengths would tell you that much of what they do doesn't work.
And that is a conversation to have, but I'm saying as far as this ongoing, who will help Jack contact his son and his ex-wife, I think we've resolved that that's no longer an issue, especially not to seek out other people to do. Mic drop.
Ultimately, Jack's just got to continue to play his part, man, and hope for the best that, you know, that his son does come around. I personally feel that he will at some point when he's ready.
And it has to be him that's right. Like, is there anything else Jack should do other than wait and like, I'm sure his son knows he's open to it. So at that point, who are any of us to step in between that?
Absolutely, I agree with that.
So we've found resolution.
You have. Doesn't change shit for
well,
me.
what do you disagree about?
Doesn't matter.
No, it does, because you've requested this of us for a long
Jack,
time.
I sense a change in your pace. Is it because Snafu came on the panel? Does that stress you out, but you let it happen anyways, and you're wondering why people walk all over you, and then you do it to yourself, and then now you have the suffer consequence? I don't know. I'm just questioning.
Are we walking all over?
Hey, he's a rapist. Strangers
Well,
to try and
Snafu, we don't
contact
know
the
that,
family.
dude. Listen, we
Even
have to
if
hear
he
this.
it was over 30 years ago. The statute of limitations is gone. Gandhi.
Good to see you, Snafu. Hope to see you later.
Snafu has zero credibility.
And you would think again, one final time, that if anybody really wanted any real proof of it, they'd get a fucking DNA test.
And 30 years post, where are you going to scrape for DNA 30 years later? Yeah.
On the living child. They could test the living adult that was a child.
For rape?
No, not test for rape, test for parenthood.
Right. They're saying Jack raped her, and because of that rape, she had a child. Now that child is an illegitimate child of Jack. Do a fucking DNA test.
Oh, that's definitely a DNA test. 1-800-MAURIE. See if Jack does a backflip.
Can we bring Maury out of retirement with this one, Jack? You just might have the case to make it happen.
Did somebody else take over the paternity show?
It's neither here nor there anymore, because again, if it was qualified, it would have been qualified right away to bring forth that evidence.
Well, let's just put the game back in order. Clearly, the lady wasn't concerned about it if she didn't push the issue.
Yeah, I thought the issue was the assault, not the child of the assault. And we all know Jack's black experiences.
So Jack, why do you think Chemo didn't bother to do a DNA test, didn't do a paternity test, or
what is it, Chemo or Margot's business? That is what I don't understand. These people seem to have this important thing, and they've been going on about it for months. I understand that they pressed initially, but what is their purpose at this point? They continue to press. Who are they to who are they to his child?
Well, Chemo white knighted and ended up being her boyfriend.
That's what it sounded like he wanted.
Got brought in because of the snafu person. I don't think anybody else was seeking out chemo than snafu, and it didn't really go anywhere. But I'm saying, is it not laid to rest as far as Jack? Like, he can wait on his son, but I think he's done all he can do.
I want to get back to Jack. Jack, would you care if chemo got the child he thinks it that you seeded got tested to verify who contribute to the genes? Do you care about that?
Doesn't matter what I want. People are going to do what they want.
There you go.
Okay.
Exactly.
I don't care. Chemo can do what he wants. I've been trying to speak to the mother, the alleged victim.
Which ones?
I would love. Right, Tom. I know. You like everything the way it is. Fuck you. You know, nothing's resolved, Tom. Just you. Your smugness is resolved.
No.
I'm
listen to what I said.
Tell you what, I've been sitting here listening to you guys talk about people related, somehow associated to me. You don't seem to really care about what I have to say, Tom. So
I've cared about what you have to say the whole stream. I've cared about what the chat has to say.
Unfortunately, we care way too much. We spend we're too involved, man.
Well, according to Tom,
he wants us involved. We want resolution.
No, Tom.
Yes.
Everything's resolved.
Jack, you're getting kind of angry, and I don't want to be around this kind of energy. I have to go.
Good. Fucking clown.
Jack, I gotta be honest with you too, man. It's not that I feel like you're angry, but I don't like to see you upset, and I know that you're upset, man. I can see it all over you, and it's righteously upset, in my opinion. I hope to follow up with you on a conversation in the future, and I do hope the best for you regarding this, brother. Keep your head up, man. Stay persistent. Keep the faith. Much love, y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've got to go grab a bite to eat myself before I go do my thing at 6. And Jack, you know me. I see all this shit going on. It can't deceive me. And like Goblin said, don't let it upset you. That's one of those things, you know, when it comes to all these ad hominem attacks and accusations and projections and stuff, you already know they're not true. So if you let it show that it doesn't bother you, the more that comes through, the more it shows your patience. Again, the one of the most patient men I've met on this metaverse, because you keep going back at it day after day, despite all these people. And like Truther Cop said, you let them up here for a reason. And whatever that reason is, I see the effect is it's proving you to be stronger than most of them weak motherfuckers that keep wanting to come back with those projections and shit.
Thank you.
Don't ever let anybody else, and this goes out to everybody, don't ever let anybody else write your story with their pen. Fuck you. You ain't my daddy. Be blessed.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate it.
So I finally want to get back to Jack. They wouldn't let me get back to Jack. How do you feel about today?
I made some mistakes. I learned some things. I don't feel like anything has changed. I don't feel like any minds were swayed or convinced. But hey, my faith is in God, and I trust. I mean, the only thing the point I was trying to get across, the only thing I think, well, I wonder, what God is looking for those who call themselves Christians is for Christians to turn people, say, hey, you should turn to God. You should let Jesus into your life. I'm not God. I am a messenger of love. And why? I don't know what to do. Hank, sincerely. I don't know how to get anyone in my real life to want to spend time with me. I don't know why my son doesn't want to. I can understand my ex-wife, but why the neighbors and my friends, they stopped speaking with me, never explained what I did, never discussed what they think I did, and they've never given me another chance. And that resulted in separation from my family, from my career, and everything else. So this is the life we're living. I'm not complaining. I'm sincerely not. I don't want to brag too much, but I say often I feel blessed. I feel blessed. Well, Zephyr, this is what's happening. Partially, yes. There were moments where I was angry and we weren't communicating. But because I was angry 6 years ago, I guess, nope, Jack can never have a conversation with his son again. Or the people I used to work with. So I own my part, but nothing was unforgivable. And this is actually more relevant. This fresh start, that's what my life is about. My life has patterns of starting over, new beginnings, and it's been learning and growing. And who I've been learning and growing, who I've been learning from has changed. And the directions I've been growing, I've been honest. I'm trying to grow in my spirituality, my faith in God. I don't know. Hank, thank you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you too. Hopefully, you're modeling the behavior you want us to have for a better world, and all we need to do is just monkey see, monkey do, and we'll get there.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Right? I think it's working.
All right. Thank you, Hank. I'm going to give a moment to Tommy as well before I wrap it up.
I hope you didn't take it down, but this reminds me of that stream where you wanted to resolution me and Paul, and I liked the outcome, and because he had to realize that the Lauren de Laguna setup was what it was, and that I've never been wronging underage girls. I thought that went great, and you were mad about that show that day. I think we've got resolutions where anybody with eyes and ears for truth will shoot you down every time you bring up this someone get my son for me. It's resolved.
Well, let's forget about that. Right. So
okay,
now
I agree.
How about the local city government or the state government or the federal government? Or how about people related to my professional life? I'm still trying to communicate with them as well.
Well, as far as your post office job, in any context, that's past the statute. Like that's you might as well write that off. Okay, but I agreed with the fresh start.
Aside from the professional, I'm trying to communicate with personal relationships I had at work. There's something going on in my life, Tommy. I wish people would stop making me answer for the choices of others or what others have done. I'm being honest.
Okay, and like I said, we all have a situation in our life that reminds us we are not guaranteed closure. Like sometimes you just gotta let it split and go.
So what? It doesn't mean we can't try. I'm
but
trying.
You have tried.
No, Tom. Tell you what. You don't like any of my
fresh
answers.
Start. Fresh start, Jack.
All right. So what now?
Leave your old life alone. Fresh start. Okay. You want to come down and go roofless with me?
No.
All right. Well, find your fresh start, Jack. It's not going to be staying in that house, remembering all the things, coming and asking us to talk about it every day.
Instead of telling me what it's not, why don't you figure out what it is?
Because that's your figure out. I know what my fresh starts are.
I'm going to wrap up.
Okay, I hope you figure out what your fresh start is, and I hope the haters come to my chat and bring that hate.
I know.
What are you popping there? I always say you wouldn't inconspicuously tic-tac. You wouldn't inconspicuously chewing gum. What are you popping your mouth there?
Oh, I'm back to nicotine.
And be careful with the vapes, because people don't realize, they're like, I quit smoking and now I vape. You probably vape 100x the nicotine because you're not smoking it, and people don't realize that.
I don't vape.
Because it's easier to vape. They vape more nicotine than they smoked. I'll leave while you're nodding yes.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you. Snafu, well, why not? Why not?
How come you're so angry at and telling people to find things that most normal people find for themselves?
Can you explain your...
Yeah, like it's not up to Tommy or any of us to tell you how to do a fresh start. That's like a huge thing. Like Tommy just said, do you want to do a fresh start? Come homeless with me. Whether that was real or not. Like the fact is you're begging these people to do your okay, what kind of life coach begs people to teach you how to do your own life? That's hilarious. Do you not see the ironic of bullshit you spit out of your mouth every day? This is why your family wants nothing to do with you.
I hear what's in your mind.
No, it's out of your own mouth. You literally sat here begging Tommy and others to figure out.
I didn't beg anyone. You're a fool. You're an absolute fool, Snafu. And for those of you who want to enable the nonsense of Snafu and you want to continue playing like you've got this doubt and superiority over me, God bless you. There's a lot of you. Snafu and Tommy and Margot and old Paulie boy. Can't forget him. There's a number of characters that have come through this Talcottian adventure. And brothers and sisters, those of you who do tune in and share the experience, I appreciate you. War is a consequence. It's not an absence of cooperation and projection from internal discontent and confusion. It is an absence of cooperation. Time in life, we are having one experience. One lifetime is being lived through all of us, moment by moment by moment. And these lifetimes, they can pass very quickly. Next thing you know, life can it can disappear. The people you love, the things you love, life will change. But it is one experience. And there is, if you get to the greatest truth, and we had some disagreements here, but let's bring this back into what is true. Reflect on which one of your family members treated you like Snafu, Tommy, Steve, and Margot. That's probably why you let those people in your life and attract them repeatedly. I've had many characters like this, and this is what I mean. Never to this level. I don't recall ever meeting people that are this out of control and this arrogant and prideful and bitter. I don't know if I never noticed them before, if I never saw them before, but I've been trying to figure this out, and it's unhealthy. It's clearly unhealthy, but it's the ego. And I've realized this is my path, the life I'm living. I am just like you, and what each of us is an image of God. And as images, we are reflecting and projecting lights and intelligence, thoughts. It's all reflecting and projecting amongst us all. I'm just a different character of you that you imagined, and I grew to be me so that I could share these messages to you today. It's just one consciousness, one mind that is bringing everything together. But the scattered minds, the individual minds, the human minds, man, the most dangerous weapon here today is the mind and imagination of an afraid man or woman. The mind and the imagination. I thought I saw, I thought I heard, I thought I felt, right? If you allow yourself to be deceived, you will react and run with delusions. And we have a world today that profits from delusions. Voting for Harris or Donald Trump is not a wise choice. What is wise? You know what? Let me not judge. Let me not cast us into that direction. It's already been a couple hours. I think it is time to wrap up. We've had the numbers rise and decline. So the topic of today, though, is one experience in the Sunday chats. I want to encourage you to grow in your faith, grow in your love, trust in Christ. Trust in the love of God, the trueness of God, the holiness of God, the goodness of God. Trust that it is with you because Christ won't fail. And the only time we truly fail is when we fail to stay in faith, in love, in peace. When we fail to stay pure, pure of negativity, pure of toxicity. Brothers and sisters, we all know what those things are. We all know what it looks like, and we all know what it feels like. Let's wrap it up for today. I want to thank you again sincerely, and I hope you found some joy, entertainment, joy, inspiration, and encouragement from today. And I hope there was some entertainment. I had fun, and I do want to thank everyone who participated. Sincerely, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. And until next time, God bless us all. Peace and thank you.